wish I only know Charlamagne. I don't even know the other guy's name, but I think Charlamagne's always been cool. You know, when I talk to him, I have a lot of respect for him. The other guy, I know nothing about him. I can look it up and I can talk about it later. But
it ain't even important, and it's all good. It's so okay. That's all cool.
So it's a question that I meant to ask you the other day, and right after you got off the show, this story kind of blew up. The Cardi B. Now the Grammys happened, and the performance, WAP, Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion did the performance, and a lot of backlash came out. Yep. She started going back and forth with Candace Owens. You put a couple of tweets up. One I thought was really, real good. You put, if Cardi B were a black man rapping about his genitals in front of millions of little children, they would call her a sexual predator. Can you expound on that? And what do you think about Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, and this new porn style of hip hop?
Well, I was talking to my 10-year-old about Cardi B a minute ago because all the kids like her, and I think she's very talented. But I told her, I said, I was trying to help her understand what's going on, and I said, look, for every time you see a Cardi B or a Lizzo or whatever, just know that there's another 10,000 black women who are just as talented that won't get that opportunity because they refuse to do certain things, because they refuse, because they're committed to a certain standard of behavior where they want to represent their families and their community in a positive light. And I think with Cardi B, she gets a lot of the flack that was really created by white supremacy and this whole systematic racism thing, where even going back to minstrel shows, they always pick the most ridiculous Negro to make the most famous one. And then when you say something about it, people think you're attacking the performer, right. But really you're looking behind the curtain. Like I said, look, I'm not attacking the puppet. I'm talking about the puppet master. I'm talking about Apple Music. I'm talking about Spotify. I'm talking about all these people, these places that are putting millions of dollars behind promoting a certain image. So I think with Cardi B and the Grammys and Megan Thee Stallion and everything else, I mean, this ain't new, right? You go back, you got Lil Kim a generation ago and a lot of stuff, Nicki Minaj, a lot of things have happened before then. But there is that pattern, and that pattern's always been there. Yeah. And I think that it's not so much about arguing about Cardi B's right to exist. Like, she can exist, she can be out there. The question is, where are all the other alternatives? The other alternatives are not really getting the same level of shine that Cardi B gets. And she's bringing a whole pack of hoes with her. She had that one lady, I forgot what of them, and she's a legit straight up porn star. You know what I'm talking about? Sookie something. Yeah, I mean, this lady, I said, damn, like they're just throwing all the porn in front of the kids. Like, I mean, this is, whoa. So I think that it's kind of like, it's not anti-Cardi. It's really more anti-system. And also it's reminding black people, like, look, just don't start worshiping people just because they're on TV. Sometimes being on TV is a strike against you as much as it's a strike for you. So I think that in terms of Cardi and Candace Owens going back and forth, that's interesting to me because here basically you got two black people that were propped up by white people. The black community did not choose Candace Owens. The black community did not choose Cardi B. They did not make those individuals into so-called black leaders or prominent black people. But if you look at that Democrat-Republican divide, Joe Biden's over here speaking, with Cardi B, ignoring all the intelligent black people they could be talking to who really understand policy and what's going on. They want to talk to Cardi B. Mm-hmm. And then on the right side, you got Donald Trump asking Candace Owens, what does the black community need? How do you be black? How do I help black people? And she's got this white husband right next to her. Candace Owens is not a representative of black people, and now there's Cardi B. So to me, it was a plantation fight. It was two people just arguing, like saying, well, your massa is bad. Well, your massa is bad. Your massa did this. Well, your massa did that. And I wasn't impressed. I think overall, they both make good points about each other. Cardi is a person that I like the fact that she was challenged by Candace Owens on the fact that the white people are the ones who are making money off of her, off of what she's doing and who she is as a person, the image she represents. And I also think Cardi made a good point about Candace in terms of her being a puppet for the Republican Party. What I would really like for us to listen to more are people who are not trying to be Democrat or Republican, but just trying to be black. Like, that's it. Just, look, I'm not down. And that's why I dug what Ice Cube was doing, because Ice Cube was just like, reparations and racial justice and everything else, that's a bipartisan issue. I'll talk to both parties. And that's what black people need to do. Stop thinking that you have to pick a side. Just pick your side. That's it.
Well said. Definitely appreciate you.
The message to the children. How does this affect the children when they get to hear this on the radio? And one thing that Cardi said too that was real true. She's like, the parents should be monitoring what the kids do as well. But on the other hand, the kids that do get, exposed to this, how does that affect them? Like the younger kids, 12, 13-year-olds, in your opinion?
Man, first of all, that's bullshit. We talk about parents can monitor whether their kids hear Cardi B. If that music is being played on every platform everywhere. If they ain't hearing it, on the internet, on the radio, they're gonna hear when they go to school with their friends. It's stupid. It's absolutely stupid for any rapper to think, I got kids, I got daughters. They're very familiar with a lot of things I wish they weren't familiar with because you're putting all that shit on the radio. It doesn't mean that it's all bad and everything has to be gospel music. But come on, man, let these girls be children before you start telling them how wet your pussy is. Like, I hate that. Right. As a father, it just pisses me off. Because here's the other thing. Here's the paradox of that. Here's where we get caught looking stupid. Mm-hmm. So some little girl is getting sexualized at the age of 6, right? Being taught to sell her pussy for a Gucci bag and all this other stuff. And then she gets about 11 or 12 and she starts hitting puberty. And then she starts thinking that she's ready for things that she ain't ready for. So some guy comes along who's got, now she ain't got no daddy at home, ain't got no money in her pocket. So some guy comes along, tells her that she's pretty, gives her a couple dollars, buys her those, buys her those Jordans she wants or that Gucci purse or whatever she wants. And the next thing you know, she's sleeping with a grown ass man. Yeah. And then you want to turn and say, well, why aren't we protecting little black girls? How can we let black look at what black men are doing to black girls? Well, no, you're doing it too. You need to stop sexualizing our kids when they're in elementary school. What the fuck is wrong with you? So I think that the thing is here, this is a corporate thing. This is corporatized genocide, because basically they're doing to black people what Hitler did to the Jews in Nazi Germany. They are allowing media to consistently push a message that dehumanizes black people and makes us look like roaches. And so then when black people get killed, nobody cares, because nobody cares when a roach gets killed. When black men are going to prison in droves, they don't care, because, well, look at the way they act. Of course they should go to prison. Little black girls are going through hell, getting raped and beaten and everything else. But they don't care, because who cares about a little black girl? Little black girls ain't nothing but $2 hoes like Cardi B shows us, right? So I think that at the end of the day, we got to look at the engine behind this. The engine is the money. The engine is the corporations. And the question you must ask is, why is it that they will allow artists to say things about black people that they would never allow you to say about Asian people? They will never allow you to say those things about Jewish people. They will never allow you to say those things about white people, especially not a white woman. You saw what happened when Rick Ross made one little joke about date rape, not even a joke or whatever, a little lyric about date rape. You saw they took his ass down quick, right? But black people, anything goes. And I think that some of us have to, again, go back to standards. What is the standard? Like, we have to have standards. If we never have any standards and never stand up for ourselves, then people are going to use us forever.
How do we defeat that as a people, in particular in hip hop and in music and then within that culture? Because we ain't the only ones that know that. That's a conversation that's happening everywhere, but people are dumbed down to it either because of the money, either because of the love of it and just the high of the fame or whatever their situation. Meanwhile, they sit aside and watch it. So we begin to hold our talent within hip hop and Hollywood or whatever we see on social media, promoting these type of things more accountable.
Yeah, well, you know what's really great, to be optimistic on it is that's already happening. Yeah. Now social media has elevated the voices of the masses, and you're finding that there's now a conflict and a contrast between what celebrities are saying and what people are saying. So, Beyonce might say something that's kind of silly, and Tariq Nasheed might come along and counter that, right? Or Vicky Dillard or somebody like that. And that's what you really need. You need really with black people, you don't really need something where everybody has to be the same. What you really need is more diversity.